Alright, everybody. Alright, so Fantasy Flights just came out with a new article for what's coming out next for Marvel Champions, it looks like. It looks like it's a scenario pack, Trickster Takeover. Announcing a new scenario pack for Marvel Champions, the card game. Can you zoom in at this? There we go, perfect. Villains come in all shapes and sizes. Some are large and brutish. Others surround themselves with like-minded minions. Some of the most dangerous villains, however, the ones who use cunning and trickery to manipulate the world to their whim. So what happens when two of those tricksters' villains team up? Fantasy Flight Games' third to announce Trickster Takeover Scenario Pack for Marvel Champions. This 78 card scenario pack, guest designed from Marvel Champions designer Michael Boggs, slinks into the scene with two brand new scenarios featuring the Enchantress and Loki. Another Loki scenario, huh? Two cunning villains with a ton of tricks up their sleeves. In addition to being able to play these scenarios in the traditional standalone way, the Loki God of Lies scenario can also be played in a brand new Epic Muiltiplayer Mode, a Marvel Champions first. Interesting. Also included a special modular encounter set featuring enthralled minions you can recruit to your side. Can you survive the brutal battle of wits? Some sneak peek at cards here. $20, $50, okay, cool. Sovereign Sorceress. To kick off the shenanigans, the heroes must face off against Enchantress. Trickster Takeover 1. The charming and manipulative Asgardian mystic. 2 scheme, 1 attack. 15 hit points. Force response after Enchantress attacks you. Place 1 charm counter on the enchantment card in your play area. Ooh, I wonder if the enchantment card will be set up or not. Right off the bat, Enchantress hits the heroes with her hypnotic gaze. 7A to 11A. There's 5 of them during the scenario setup. Permanent, so it looks like it does come out at the start. Your identity gains the Defiant trait. If there are 5 or more charm counters here, remove each charm counter from here and flip this card. Interesting. There are 5 different copies of this card, each with a different enchantment on the opposite side, and you won't know which one you're dealing with until it flips. While still on the hypnotic gaze side, your identity gains the Defiant trait, representing how your hero is resisting Enchantress temptations. The number is 7A to 11A, so yeah, you won't know what you got. Well, while still on the hypnotic gaze side, your identity gains the Defiant. Yeah, okay. After your hypnotic gaze gains enough charm counters, such as from Enchantress's attacks or through cards like her crown. Expert Mode Stalwart. Force response after Enchantress schemes against you. Place 1 charm counter on enchantment card in your play area. Your action, each player exhausts their identity and takes 1 damage. Discard this card. Oh, she normally doesn't. Okay, when she schemes, okay. Or an Enthralled Lackey. The card flips to its unique trance side and gives you the Enthralled trait. Okay, Lackey. 2/1. Quick Strike's the right one an attack's going to be adding. After this many attacks, you place 1 charm counter on the enchantment card in your play area. 3, huh? Boost. Choose to either place 1 charm counter on the enchantment card in your play area or confuse your identity. That's pretty thematic there. Each trance side enchantment hits you with an immediate effect when it's revealed and also possesses a unique forced action. This is a special type of action that you have to perform before you can end the player phase. Hits you with an immediate effect when it's revealed and also possesses a unique forced action. Okay. This type special action that you have to perform before you can end the player phase, though you can choose the moment that you do so. For example, the Trance of Greed. Iron Man with all his goodies. Your identity gains an enthralled trait. When revealed, you are confused, otherwise take 2 damage. Forced action, exhaust this card, draw 1 card, then play that card, paying its costs. If you cannot, take 1 damage. Okay, interesting, I like that. Has a forced action that you draw a card, then force you to immediately play that card or take damage if you can't. You have to perform this action before the player phase ends, but you could wait to perform it until your hand is empty so that you don't need to waste any resources on the drawn card, assuming you have a hit point to spare. or you could draw the card early in your turn, hoping it's something you want to play right away. Similarly, the Trance of Wrath has a forced action that deals you a point of indirect damage while also letting you deal 2 damage to a minion. When revealed, search the top 5 cards of the encounter deck for a card and reveal it. Oh. With careful planning, you can choose when to trigger these actions and get the most out of their effects while mitigating the costs. In addition to the forced action on the trance side, the trait you gain from your enchantment attachment can also determine how some of Enchantress' other cards affect you. Cards like Do My Bidding, when revealed, if you... three. If your identity has the Defiant trait, choose one. If your identity has the Enthralled trait, do both in any order. Oh, gross. Search the encounter deck and discard power for a minion and reveal it. Search the encounter deck and discard power for a side scheme and reveal it. What was that? Do My Bidding, Spell Blast. I'm assuming it's Defiant, choose one. Enthralled, do both, yep. Enchantress schemes. With +1 scheme in Expert mode, Enchantress attacks you with +1 attack in Expert mode. Okay. Or the Spellbound side scheme. Spellbound. When defeated, each player whose identity has the Defiant trait places 1 charm counter on the enchantment card in their play area. Each player whose identity has the Enthralled trait discards a card they control. 4 and a Crisis icon. Alright, so that scheme all get nastier when your identity has the Enthralled trait, while minions like Enthralled Brute or Cinder become tougher to face. 1, 2, 4, huh? Guard. While this minion is engaged with a player whose identity has the Enthralled trait, this minion gets +3 hit points. Its boost effect. Choose to either place 1 charm counter on the enchantment card in your play area or exhaust your identity. And then Cinder, huh? 1, 4, 6. Elite Giant. Cinder's attack, deal indirect damage. When revealed, if your identity has the Defiant trait, Cinder activates against you. If your identity has the Enthralled trait, give Cinder a tough status card. Okay. Interesting. To top it all off, if you have the Enthralled trait, then every charm counter that you would gain ends up as a threat on the main scheme. Instead, with her tricks and her charms, Enchantress is not to be trifled with. Alright, her main scheme. Force turn, when a charm counter would be placed on the enchantment card in your play area, if your identity has the Enthralled trait, place 1 threat here instead. So he goes up by 1, 6 threshold, or 6 per player. Trickster magic. Before we preview the second scenario, it's only fitting that we talk about the spiral encounter set that comes in this pack. Trickster magic, huh? Absorbing me. Zax again, huh? This encounter set represents the trickster villain's powers at work, including all the trouble they are able to stir up as distractions for the heroes. They range from tricky side schemes like the Trickster Tango. I like that picture, that's funny. The villain gains Stalwart. Oh, nasty. They cannot make 2 boosts if this activation is an attack, it gains Overkill. 2, complicating the battle with a love triangle. I don't know what's going on here. Attached to an ally you control, otherwise this card gains Surge. Attached ally cannot attack the villain or defend against the villain's attacks. Alter Ego action, exhaust attached ally and discard a mental resource. Discard this card. However, the highlight of the set is its 4 enthralled minions, Absorbing Man, Titania, Whirlwind, and Zax. Guard Victory 1. While Absorbing Man is engaged with you, he gets +X attack, where X is the printed cost of the highest cost card you control. Oh, nasty. I like that, though. When defeated, the player defeats this minion puts set aside a Absorbing Man ally into play under their control. Oh, that's interesting. I'm assuming when defeated is the same for this one. Yeah. Steady Victory 1. She gains Overkill. 1 and 3 and 8. Nasty minions. 2, 1, 6. Quick Strike Victory 1. After Whirlwind attacks you, take 1 indirect damage for each side scheme in play. Then Zax 1, 2, 6. Retaliate 1, Victory 1. Discard the top 4 cards of your deck for each printed energy resource. Discard this way, take 1 indirect damage. Each of these minions is a fairly formidable foe, but they're not exactly working with the Enchantress or Loki of their own free will. If you manage to knock them back to their senses, these 4 will actually team up with you to help take down the villains who are controlling their minds. For example, if you defeat the Absorbman minion, then you immediately get to put the Absorbman ally into play under your control. The same goes for the other three, and any of them could potentially swing the flow of battle in your favor. After all, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's kind of cool. I like that. 1-1-3. Linked. Victory does not count against your ally limit. Interrupt when Absorbman attacks or thwarts exhaust and upgrade or support control. Absorbman gets plus X to that power of this use, where X is that card's printed cost, to a maximum of 3. That's cool. I like that. Alright, the God of Lies. After dealing with the Enchantress, our heroes will have little time to breathe before being thrust into conflict with Loki. Okay, kind of looks like the same stuff going on as the original. As we mentioned earlier in this article, this scenario marks the introduction of a brand new Epic Muiltiplayer Mode for the game. Loki's avatars have spread all across the globe, and the heroes must work together like never before to shatter the mischievous god's illusions and bring him down once and for all. To kick things off, we have the primary villain card, Loki, God of Lies. If Loki, God of Lies has 10 per player or fewer remaining hit points, flip this card. And hit points 20, okay. This is the true Loki, and the one that everybody currently participating in the scenario in single group mode or Epic Muiltiplayer Mode needs to defeat in order to win. Sounds simple enough, right? Except nothing is as it seems with this masterful trickster, and he has no qualms of breaking the game's normal rules. No matter what you do, you cannot directly attack or damage Loki, God of Lies, at any time. This is thanks to Worlds Collide, a unique main scheme shared by all player groups which not only prevents anyone from damaging Loki, but also prevents any threat from being removed from itself. The only way you're going to be able to damage Loki is to shatter the illusion, and to do that, you're all going to have to fight off his various avatars. 2 per group, I'm assuming. Each icon on Loki, God of Lies, counts the total number of players in all game areas. Each game area icon on this scheme counts the total number of groups in all pods. Okay. Cards cannot affect this scheme or Loki, God of Lies, unless they refer to those cards by title. Cards cannot affect the scheme or Loki, God of Lies, unless they refer to those cards. Okay. This stage is completed, players lose the game. 2 per group, huh? Interesting. Okay. We have some here. There are 4 different avatars of Loki. Loki the Rascal, Loki the Miscreant, Loki the Knave, and Loki the Wretch. Loki the Rascal 1-1. After you resolve a boost card during Loki the Rascal's activation, if that card is a treachery, either deal it to yourself as a face-down encounter card or spend 1 resource of any type. When this villain would be defeated, place 5 per person shatter counters on here and flip this card instead. Ooh. 1-2. So, I think this is going to be the same for all of them. After you resolve a treachery card, place 1 threat on the main scheme and place 1 threat on a side scheme. Loki the Knave, 2-1. After you resolve a treachery, deal 1 damage to your identity, deal 1 damage to an ally you control. And the Wretch. When Loki the Wretch activates against you, discard a top card of the encounter deck. If a treachery was discarded this way, Loki the Wretch gets +1/+1 for its activation. Each player group has to deal with their own batch of these 4 avatars, facing off against a randomly chosen avatar of Loki that gets swapped out for another every time they manage to defeat one. As you fight your avatar of Loki, you'll build up shatter counters on it through defeating side schemes like Lofty Goals or minions like Grendel or Malekith. Lofty Goals, place 2 threat on, okay. Easy enough. Grendel, I think. Guard. When Grendel attacks, discard top 3 cards of the encounter deck. For each treachery discard this way, Grendel gets +1 attack for this attack. And Malekith. 5. 2-2. Retaliate 1. After Malekith attacks, you discard top card of the encounter deck. If that card is treachery, deal it to yourself as a face-down encounter card. Ooh, I don't like that. Each time your group manages to defeat an avatar of Loki, it will gain a surge of shatter counters and flip it to its Fading Figment side, triggering the Shatter of the Illusion effect that lets you damage Loki, God of Lies, based on the number of shatter counters you build up. Your group then gets a new random avatar of Loki to deal with, and the fight continues as before. Interesting. Fading Figment. When revealed, shatter the illusion. Let's see the side shatter of the card. Choose a group in your pod, then place the signature group in your pod. Wait. So there's multiple groups in a pod and there's multiple pods? I don't know if I understand that. Then place synergy counters on their unified front environment equal to the number of players in their group. Shatter the illusion. When a fading figment is revealed, follow these steps to shatter Loki's loot. Remove each shatter counter from fading figment, then deal damage to Loki, god of lies, equal to the number of shatter counters removed this way. Swap the fading figment and play with a random side-to-side villain, avatar of Loki, side face up. Then set the hit point dial of that avatar of Loki villain to its printed hit point value. Deal each player one face down encounter card. Interesting. So now you know how to damage the real Loki, but the odds are still stacked against you. After all, Loki's plan is affecting the entire globe, and with him raising mischief and mayhem in every player group, just one slip from the heroes could swing momentum back in the trickster god's favor. Main scheme, okay. When this scheme would be completed, remove all threat from here and place one threat on Worlds Collide instead. Okay, that's making sense now. Fortunate when an identity would be defeated, change that identity's form to alter ego, set its hit points dial to 1, and place one threat on the Worlds Collide instead. Okay, so you can only lose by the Worlds Collide, it looks like. Oh, that's not going to be very good for Deadpool, is it? Fortunately, defeating an avatar of Loki also adds some synergy counters onto one of the 4 special synergy environments. These cards represent the heroes from around the world working together to take Loki down, and they provide some pretty powerful benefits. For example, Domineer Force can be used to boost the attack of a friendly character by 4 damage. When revealed, remove one, that attack deals 4 additional damage, okay. While a unified front can serve as a fantastic resource generator for the entire team. Max 1 synergy counters here. Remove 1 synergy counter from here, generate a 2 wild resource. Each player group has their own copies of these environments to work with, and when you're playing in Epic Muiltiplayer Mode, you can choose any group in your pod to grant synergy counters when you defeat your avatar of Loki. Of course, it's not like Loki himself is going to just sit there and wait for you to win. When he drops to half health, Loki, God of Lies, flips to his second stage, triggering his intense focus and powering up his avatars for the rest of the game. Second stage, each group in standard mode attaches their set-aside intense focus to the avatar of Loki villain in their game area. Each group in expert mode flips their intense focus attachment to its total focus side. If Loki, God of Lies, is defeated, all players and all groups will win the game. That's cool. Multiple groups can play different difficulties. That's pretty cool. I like that. Intense focus. The avatar of Loki villain gets +2 per player, hit points, and gains steady. When revealed in standard mode, discard the top 2 cards of the encounter deck and the top 5 cards of each player deck. It's in standard mode, but not in expert mode. I wonder if that's supposed to say expert, or do you just not do that in expert? I don't really get that one. Okay. If your group is playing, oh, there it is. If your group is playing in expert mode, then you started the game with intense focus in play. There we go. We just had to keep reading, which means at this point it flips over to total focus instead, fishing the Dark Scepter out of the encounter deck and boosting the avatars even further. Okay, avatar villains get +3 hit points and gain steady. Discard top 2 per player cards of the encounter deck and the top 5 cards. Find Dark Scepter and reveal it. Dark Scepter did not enter play this way. Give the avatar of Loki villain a tough status card. Okay. Attached to the avatar of Loki villain, the avatar of Loki villain gains stalwart. Treacherous cannot be cancelled. Treacheries cannot be cancelled. Ooh. In response, after you resolve a treachery, spend 2 resources of the same type, discard this card. After you resolve a treachery. Okay. That's interesting. I like that a lot. Both intense focus and total focus represent Loki concentrating his power on fighting the heroes, hoping to snatch away victory through devious means. Even so, with a bit of synergy and a whole lot of teamwork, you and your fellow heroes can prevail against the God of Lies. The Trickster Tango. While manipulative tactics and tricks up their sleeve, Enchantress and Loki are bound to make a splash in Marvel Champions. Do you have what it takes to stop this dastardly duo? Look forward to taking on this tangle of tricksters when the Trickster Takeover scenario pack arrives this August. Nice. This seems really fun, especially the Loki scenario, the God of Lies. That seems really interesting and be fun to see how it plays. I don't know if I missed it or not, but the group to pod thing kind of confuses me, but we'll figure it out, right? Each icon on this game counts a total number of groups in all pods. So I'm not quite sure what a pod is. Like if there's 5 rooms and each room has 5 groups, so is each room a pod? That's how I'm picturing it. But that scenario seems pretty fun. This this scenario pack, these scenario cards, modular. There you go, modular set. Seems pretty interesting. Bringing minions back to help you. I like that idea. And the Enchantress set seems pretty interesting as well. Trying to get her before you can flip down to your what is it, enthralled side? Yeah, enthralled. Because then everything just gets worse. I really like that. So yeah, that is the new scenario pack coming out. We haven't had one in a while since Mojo. Let me know what you think of each of the 2 scenario packs in the modular set. Other than that, we will catch you next time. Deuces.